Benedict, how are you doing today?
I'm all right, my friend. How are you?
I'm really good. Such a pleasure to talk to you today.
Thank you.
I am a massive horror fan, and Scott Derrickson, obviously fantastic horror director who directed the first one. Sam Raimi obviously has Spider-Man behind him, but is one of the best horror directors around directing this one. When you were making this sequel, could you feel the horror, I guess, that he was bringing to it?
A little, yeah. It's definitely got jump scares in it, which he brought to the Spider-Man franchise. I thought brilliantly, especially the second film. And yeah, there are definitely elements of schlock horror as well. Scott Derrickson type horror, not so much. I mean, I have to be careful around this term. It's a very big family horror, as you know, as a horror fan. It can range from anything from Haunting of Emily Rose to what's it called, The Shining to it. So I feel a little bit like I've been, well, not me being set up before, but there was a statement of intent of this being the most scary Marvel film yet. I mean, what do you think is the most scary so far? And I'll tell you whether this matches up to it.
I guess maybe the creepiest one would have been maybe around the start of Ultron when he popped out and he had like a creepy vibe to him. But there hasn't been a
This
proper
is
kind
definitely
of
more
this is
scary than that, than Age of Ultron. Definitely.
that's
I
good
would
to
say
know.
it's more creepy, and it goes into very dark realms and dark territory. And I'm no horror aficionado. I not for not being a fan. I'm not very good with them. I just stay up all night worrying and having terrible nightmares. I really do. I'm very suggestible. So just every creak in the house becomes whatever it is I've just been watching, and it's pretty unbearable. But having said that, yeah, I would say don't expect an all-out horror, but a darker tone, some comic shock horror, and some good jump scares as well.
The movie really like it hits the ground running, and from what I've seen in it so far, it very
Literally running.
rarely, yeah, it very rarely takes a breath just to let people catch up because it reminded me almost of the Terminator where it's moving while it's telling you what's going on, which I absolutely adored.
There's a little bit of that. I mean, there's a ticking clock to it, I guess, a little bit, and so that's important. But yeah, I mean, I think that it's an awful lot in one film, and I think it has to have that pace from the beginning. And what little I've seen of it, I worry when there's stuff that we're sitting down and talking about because I just think we should be doing stuff now, but then I'm in the film and I know it backwards, so I'm the worst judge of it. So I think there are definitely moments where you as an audience can catch your breath, and you need to. There's a lot to examine and explain and kind of absorb, but there is a sort of propulsion by the end, which is kind of great, like the last third, which was very much up in the air when we started shooting in typical Marvel fashion. It really comes together spectacularly.
And in this, we are introduced to America Chavez, and then we have Xochitl Gomez, who herself is introduced to this world. So I kind of enjoyed the parallels of that actress being brought into the MCU as that character's being brought in from us. So like, were you,
Yeah.
I guess, imparting any knowledge or any advice to this kind of MCU newbie? Like, this is what you're getting yourself into, like pros and cons of it.
No. I open door, ask any questions you want, but no, I didn't step forward and try and sort of and patronize her or guide her. And she, if there were moments when I felt I needed to explain something I was doing as a character, I would obviously do that, but I wouldn't seek to sort of explain stuff to her. She's a strong girl, and I think she's done a great job in this. It's a big thing to take on. And I think there's a lot more for that character to evolve in terms of its backstory, in terms of finding out who she is and her origin and all the rest of it. It's definitely touched on in this film, but yeah, we'll be seeing more of her. I mean, she's carrying a lot into this MCU, not least being an LGBTQ plus character, but also what she's capable of as that character. So it's just the beginning, I think, for her. And riffing with her, maybe she'll say differently. Maybe she'll say, "No, Bennett definitely gave me a note when I did that." I honestly, I can't remember, and I would like to think I didn't, unless I don't know, unless she was struggling with something and needed some help. I think the one thing I always say to myself, and I might have shared with her, is just like, if you're finding something difficult, use it in your performance somehow, bring it in, because it becomes very oppositional. Well, even sometimes pushing against something helps, but it can stop you from, you know, being pliable and shifting easily if you're just doing it like you did it in the bedroom, or, you know, just like, you have to be adaptable in this world. I say that to myself all the time, as I might be mumbling something to her and then we got talking about it, because I'm always having to remind myself of that if I'm getting hung up on something, just to sort of let it go and, you know, give it a try, or bring that agitation or that interest or that distraction in, you know. Very important as well when you're filming, with all the bells and whistles that this involves, whether it's, you know, a really bright light, whether it's a bit of tech, whether it's an actual ask for how to deliver a moment, but especially with the technical challenges, you really have to see through past so much stuff and see stuff that isn't there. You have to constantly kind of live in a realm of imagining circumstances, or just ignoring a lot of real circumstances to get it done, you know.
Absolutely. Benedict, thank you so much for your time today.
You're welcome. Thank you.